Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to another stream. Hopefully, you guys are doing great. Let's get started with the stream. Interesting couple of days. I know. I missed Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday for streaming. I know. Sorry. It's just yeah. Can't really say anything other than didn't want to do it. Just didn't want to do anything. That's it, pretty much. Like, had some PC issues, but had some brain issues at the same time. So it balances out. But I mean, we can still cover it. I mean, it's just nothing that hasn't been surprising. I mean, we left off Monday saying that we would want to short that 17,377, and I mean, there was your short. Nothing else interesting ever happened after that. I mean, if you grab out the Monday range that we were given, this candle, okay, cool. From this candle to this candle, I mean, there's your 50% line. Seriously, actually better if I just do this. There you go. Yeah, pretty much there. I mean, that was your Monday high, that was your Monday low. I mean, very hard to make out, so we just take that off. But as you can see, we just came up, hit it. Tuesday comes up, sets up, then we get the Monday, Tuesday entirety of that come forward. I mean, it still stayed within Monday, which is interesting enough. There we go. Still stayed within Monday, as you can see. Today's Monday. Hey, good morning. Drag that out. There you go. Then it's just the same thing. Like at some point, you just don't need me. Like, other than for validation, like for your trades, and realistically, you shouldn't need my validations to enter a trade. I mean, you should just be like, oh yeah, you'd have some level of convictions, just have some cojones. Like, we know that, okay, Monday, Tuesday sets a range. Cool, this is our range. There you go. La di da di da. Nice and easy. We break out the range. We now are outside the range Wednesday. We may expect a reversal. We sort of get a reversal, but instead we just retest it down here. Basically just retesting it several times, working the lows each time. As you can see, just taking out those stops that were built up, then taking out the entirety of that structure, then pushing on. Other than that, there's nothing more to say. It's just price did give you a nice sort of point in where it does stop hunt, pulls back down, trades into here, pushes. And even from Monday, like, it's just simple stuff. It's just stuff that repeats day in and day out. I mean, this comes in, just pushes back, just retests the daily imbalance. You can see here, just eats into it, but closes just higher here. As you go, just pushes slightly in, just takes that stop here for the first point, then pushes on, gives you that spike, probably a news release, doesn't matter. At the end of the day, what matters, it happens. Stop hunts just holds 50%. I mean, you can easily eyeball that. 50% would be around here. Just holds 50%. It gives you a nice little double bottom. You could have entered into here. Pushes high. There's your double top here. There's your M. Starts pushing on the top of the range. Top of that sort of figure. You're like, okay, that's nice. There's your spike high. Again, nice little M. Just spot M's, spot W's, spot where they are in the structure. It's just day in, day out. In the grand scheme of things, we are, like I already said, it just comes in, closes this entirety, the this range here. But in the short term, it's just okay, cool. We're going low. We sort of pinning that 50% line here. We stop hunt, give you a nice little W here. You could enter here. It's just you enter here, first TP here, leave the rest open. At this point, it's just, I don't know, it shouldn't be too sort of difficult to sort of say, oh yeah, do this or do that. And that's even without using any sort of extra tools like Bookmap. It's just, oh yeah, let's common sense it. Okay, oh yeah, I do this based off of what I've been doing prior. Like I add Bookmap on top, you see, okay, cool. Let's see where liquidations are. I just see, oh yeah, we got liquidations here, liquidations there. There you go. We're just driving those liquidations higher. I don't really like perp, and you can just tell there were liquidations, and then go into day. Like, and I'm using the web Bookmap purposely just to show you this is free. All you need to do is sign up to Bookmap. It's a nightmare to run, but you know, if you can run it, you can run it. That should be it. That's an argument that you need to have for yourself. Oh yeah, let's get a powerful PC. Let's see if you can run it. And bloody hell, it's giving me a nightmarish time. Even Bookmap itself, you can have the base version, which is just free. Crypto is just okay, cool. There we go. Finally, not giving me nightmarish. You can see that clear. Instant clear out, just a large sort of push into here, just cuts through all of this. Not really too much volume to be had here, as you can see. It's just cuts through it. Some volume gets hit by probably by people who are just not fast enough, but most people who are using algos instantly remove them. It sort of absorbs here. Again, same thing happens here, just a large sort of liquidation. You know those are liquidations because they're easy to tell. So it's just a case of, we had some level of build up of shorts, but we push those out. We push those out very aggressively, and we're just coming back to a point now where let's go back to that hour view. Where now we're back to the same thing where we're driving out longs. We had a bunch of longs open up on those tops. I don't know why. It's just people chasing these green bars. Sure, we close off this bar, but I mean, at this point, we're now trading under the largest sort of M, as you can see here. Large sort of M. We'll see how that completes. If it completes here, wouldn't be too bad. At the same time, we know that we have a bunch of liquidations, a bunch of people antsy to go short. We'll see if they drive that higher, then trade inside. Again, you're looking for this to trade inside to want to say, oh yeah, that will trade downwards. And it's just stuff you can piece together. It's just adding 2 plus 2. It's just stuff you shouldn't need me for. So I mean, if I disappear one day, you can just, yeah, cool. I know what to do. Just do this. We'll see if they keep it up here. I mean, there should be some vested interest. I mean, if you go back and say, look at it on this view here. You can see just pinning, slams it down. You can start to see why I really like these levels. Sure, that entire candle's blue, so we want to see if we, on the hour, we come below, sort of, again, 190. We can see where the volume is on this. It is on that sort of 18,314, and likewise on the sort of reach around. You can see first came in lower, then stopped out, squeezed out everything, came in a bit higher, and we already know that. Excuse me. Using Bookmap, it's pretty easy to tell. Again, just the sheer amount of shorts here opened, and now we've got a bunch of longs just instantly sort of what very antsy just to reclaw that back, ending that on a wick. Down a 3 minute, probably better on the 1 minute. You can see just very sort of aggressive, pushing it back. See if they sort of end that sort of momentum soon. We're hitting something sort of into the bids. We're sort of fading now, allowing sort of very large sort of longs entering into the markets, just pushing out those shorts that were entered right at the bottom out of the gate. Now we're looking for potential reversal into sort of to break these lows at some point. We're sort of looking for that build up. Let's see if we have anything important coming in today. Core inflation rates, that's just happened. So yeah, it's just happened. We just had a massive news. Explains sort of this candle. Explains that we'll probably get that whipsaw candle. We'll see where it ultimately ends and lies. But looking at sort of the data, I mean, inflation year on year, it's down, which is great. Core inflation down 0.1%. Month on month, it's up, but I mean, you win some battles. You can't win them all. Jobless claims again down as well. That's really good. That just means less unemployment. People, which is just again very sort of nice news. I mean, we're looking at this and saying, oh, okay, now we want to wait for this whipsaw candle to end, and it was just like, oh, okay, so it's a major sort of news sort of point, and there was your longs just taking in. Now pushing back in. We want to see if they take these lows. If they take these lows, and hopefully they do, looking at sort of these walls here, we can sort of look at it and say, oh, okay, cool, there's maybe some points we can look for reversals, but currently we're looking for blood, maybe all the way to 17,700. But generally that major sort of push that we got over the last just overnight just very much punished everything. Just to say, okay, cool, we know ahead of time the numbers are going to be really good. Let's just push these numbers out very high. I mean, the forecasted was I mean, yeah, previous numbers were what points 7.1. You can see forecasted was generally they were projecting it down, and it hit a lot better than initial. So they're okay, let's just pump it up just much higher because they're expecting a large sort of fall. Now they can start repricing things correctly after this sort of push higher. Again, just trapping these up here. We'll see if they ultimately all the way come back down to 17,300. Again, it'll be 1,000 drop. Looking at the daily, we still have sort of some points to sort of say, okay, cool, there's we might spread our wings all the way up into here. That sort of major sort of level of resistance. You can see that where we've been playing for here, I get 1, 2, 3, 4. Then finally, when people started shorting this area here, you can see they finally squeezed those guys out, poor souls. And it's just understanding that breakouts will work when people least expect them, or when people are not trading them correctly. We didn't get the same reaction from yes. I mean, we did get the slow climb overnight, we can see that, but not the same explosive sort of reaction that we expected. You can see that came in, retested it already, so I mean it's raring to go. We'll see if they push it further, but I think the way it is now, as long as it trades inside here, we're probably expecting price to try and fluctuate, but ultimately end up higher at the end of the day. Very aggressive with these candles. I mean, not enough to be said. Again, below sort of 1800, we're potentially looking for 17300 all the way back into here. But I mean, there are points on the way, maybe 17700 and so on. But ultimately, we're looking for that 17300 range, maybe 17500, just a bit higher. Looking at things, but generally we want to sort of come back down, like into this area, just to show that okay, even at this area we can hold it. And if we can hold it, that'll sort of be sure signs that okay, we probably want to trade a bit higher with this sort of this price holding it here. But like on the weekly view, it's just not really too I mean, it's not really too appetizing. I mean, maybe if we make it all the way to 1900, hit that sort of buffer area that we talked about, we'll sort of push out that ES to try and trade a bit higher. We can probably get to the 4000s. I mean, with Bitcoin, that would mean again this area here will be in contention. As soon as you get that area, maybe we can look for that to say, oh, okay, that would be nice. Hit back lower. We have a look at Ethereum. Just flying into it. I mean, it's got nothing stopping it really on the daily. I mean, probably looking all to reach 15500 smoothly at some point in the long run. But generally, I mean, breaking it down into sort of shorter term, I mean, we already have sort of resistance forming at 1400. Nice little even number. I mean, we already know with Bitcoin, it's creating that sort of trap volume here. I mean, but at the same time, it already came back, just closed off this sort of area here. You can see where the volume started escaping in, just comes in and just completes that nicely. And just says, okay, you see that a little inefficiency here, I'll close that off for you, and then push on. So we know they probably ran out everybody in that entire bar. Nice sort of ending some Doge. It's a nice little cop out, but yeah, you can see how aggressive each way. I mean, they got traded what, one time, two times, the third time held it, and getting them probably a fourth time trade. So within one candle, they probably tripped out traders four different times in 4 different locations, just to say, have a nice day. I mean, again, I'll open. I mean, you know, you guys know it's open. Just add any questions, any charts you want. Again, not really too fast about whatever you add. I mean, we can look at gold. You can see gold slowly climbing, broke that weekly. Again, finally making it, then clawing itself up all the way to sort of that daily sort of level. With inflation being this low, do we really expect gold to continue, or inflation lowering rather? Do we still expect people rush to gold? I doubt it for too long. I think people will see this as potentially a risk on sort of environment. Just say, oh look, it's better. The economy is a bit better now. Let me put my money in it in stocks. Let me take it off. So maybe we'll see it sort of shift downwards after sort of hitting some area here. So maybe it'd be considered wise to be maybe looking for a gold sort of short some point in the future. Not some point, some nearly sort of easier. So yeah, I mean, it's coming to that level where you'd consider I mean, maybe sort of 1916, as long as it sort of comes in and you see the sort of previous sort of area here comes in, creates that similar thing. We can say that there's a short throw, sort of large structure M formed. See that here, we can see maybe that comes in, or ultimately that just becomes our guys to say, oh look, there's that W coming in here, comes in here, pushes higher, maybe something like this. Generally is maybe what we're looking for. Maybe a bit lower, we'll see if it comes in and tests that line here, but generally that's maybe something that we may look for from gold, just to sort of capitalize on sort of major trends doing. But again, that sort of weeks, not so probably play out over months, so not even, if anything, a year or so. But generally it's nice to know what your long-term pitch is doing, just so you can react accordingly. After that insane sort of down candle, we're already getting some green coming in, we're getting some buys, just pushing it sort of strengthen. Again, I mean, if you go into sort of lower time frames as this, you can see that it's hitting into these bids, but it's hitting into it, it's collecting those shorts here. You can see that it's just people are willing to short, so we may see that lead into price fluctuation where they just squeeze it out, push it back down, squeeze it out, push it back down until they sort of exhausted those options. But generally we're still sort of holding some level of bias for that sort of downward spiral. I mean, we're too high not to be sort of considered, but I mean, it's actually, yeah, I mean, you can argue both ways realistically. Just looking at this, it's just okay, cool, they're working the highs, but they just worked out both. I mean, last thing they worked was the lows, pushed it back in. We know we've got shorts in, so they might just drive those shorts out. We'll see how aggressive those shorts end up being, or how long they end up staying on the books for. If they stay on the books until here, they can see themselves coming back down. If they require a bit more persuasion, we'll probably see price sort of try climb up higher, maybe into that sort of higher sort of territory that we looked at in sort of maybe the 19, sort of the 80, yeah, 19,000 sorry, area here. I mean, if it requires that persuasion, sure, why not? But generally already happy saying, oh, okay, maybe a bit lower, maybe hit 7,500, 7,300, and finally sort of claw our way and hit that on the rebound. But and I know definitely if you look at this sort of retail wise, they'll look at this, they'll say maybe we get consolidation, we get a breakout. We'll see if that leads into trying to create traps here to warrant that. So maybe we get that false spike high in that second bar, pushes, then we get that clearing out, then finally we can maybe talk about price sort of escaping. I don't know what my throat is seizing up. I don't know. I mean, yeah, that's pretty much all I really have to say today. I mean, nothing sort of interesting. I mean, news already came out. Let's see if there's got any more news, any more grain stocks. We've got corn, soy, wheat from December. I mean, not really something you want to pay attention to. It could be nice, but unless you're trading those grains, excuse me, unless you're trading those grains, it's something that you don't really care about the numbers. You just care about, maybe 12 o'clock something fun will happen. So just keep your eye again. Looks like there's no real major shift, just the typical sort of midday. Here we go. Have fun. I mean, looking at sort of how everything extended high, you can finally see sort of where things are lying. I mean, looks like it's not wholly. Let's reload data. Where is it? Yeah, just refresh this, see if that fixes it. Nope. Nope. That's the problem with this, I guess. Just can't keep up. But generally, it keeps the numbers neat. I mean, you can see this is the area we want to reject off. Funny enough, that's coming back down. You can see this entirety. I mean, it is single, a bunch of single. It looks like they want to maybe try call this back. We've got a bunch of sort of crudely sort of numbers. Some of them matching, some of them sort of saying, oh, okay, these are the areas we want to look at. I mean, 1700 is a bit low. 7500, there's something again we want to look at. But generally just overtly high. I mean, some garish sort of responses, but nothing sort of too major. Nothing sort of too major. Again, that 19 sort of area is that previous sort of long-term sort of point that we're looking at from from September last year. We'll sort of complete a bunch of things if we need that extension, but generally that's pretty high. We expect some intermediate this, maybe spike high one more time before sort of ultimately trying, if we want to expect a push down, getting a push down. But again, just it's running its course. It's running into sort of points where probably today or tomorrow we expect some banners in the works before pushing it further down. But biases wise, I kind of want to lean short. It's something that sounds yeah, it sounds it's a sound argument to make. It's just okay, maybe today we get some tomfoolery, but ultimately we end up just breaking down short as long as we squeeze out whatever sort of these traders are doing here. Finally, I mean, we are to some extent we're finally getting those longs back coming in. I mean, we can look at the hour. Again, on the hour, on average, it's just generally sort of more long than it is short. You can see those shorts coming in here. They're slowly sort of tapering away. We want to see what it takes to squeeze them out. If it takes going all the way up until 18300, so be it. But generally, we're happy to see those longs. That means we're slowly expecting that to sort of fall at some point, because people are getting comfortable saying, oh look, here's your typical flag, we can break out and we can go up higher and so on and so forth. And imagine not knowing, getting in trade at 8:30. Imagine. Yeah, it's just it's just a typical day, la di da di da. Whoops, what's happening here? Even on the minute, it's a doji. It's like, oh, let's short this. Oh no, it's going up. Let's long this. Oh no, why is it going down? Oh, let's short this. Oh no, why is it going up? That's a typical reaction. I mean, we'll see if it climbs up. That's the thing. You're looking for maybe the range set, take out the range high, or even trade internally. I mean, it doesn't always have to take range high. It'd be nice if it did. It just shows that we want to take those breakout traders and break the legs. But generally, if we build up volume here, we're happy. We're pushing it down. If you want to extend it again, extend it. Timing is a cheat code, yeah. Just knowing 8:30 is news releases is major. I don't know when. It's not even. It's when embargo lifts, so they know ahead of time the news. Then they're like, okay, cool. Set this for tomorrow 8:30. Okay, that's when everyone gets it. So everyone who's part of the shower cabinet is just like blah 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 blah. Enter mass hypnosis, whatever. Deep state. Turn the frogs gay. Whatever. But generally, they just know. That's why they price things a bit higher, push it down. Then they lift the embargoes for all the major news outlets to say, okay, you can release this now. There you go. Can you look at Atom? Yeah, sure. Looks like steady for Atom. Not really too much in the way of climbing that it hasn't already been doing by itself ahead of time, which is nice. I mean, just coming now. Hopefully, it's just chugging along. You can see it's struggling to make that last few inches without sort of Bitcoin's help. I think it would have fell much quicker and much earlier at sort of that 11.5 level. But looking at this now, again, no volume here, just squeezed it here because Bitcoin's something has to arbitrage into that, then held that into that day, into this day here. I mean, came back down, just filled that area out. We'll see if it traps itself between these two levels. If it breaks higher, looking for a build up of volume. If you see that build up of volume, looking to short that back down. Hopefully a bit lower, maybe up to 10.7. That's sort of where you find yourself taking logical steps. Again, partial profits. Then just ride it for as long as you can, as long as you can greed it. I mean, look at this now. I mean, it's already sort of brawling itself high. You can see there's a collection of probably short on that second half that we did get. Everything else do now trying to drive those out. We'll see if they drive them out at 12. At sort of 12.1, we see that if that's what it takes to drive them out. If it doesn't, maybe we'll wait a bit higher. We'll start pushing itself again higher and higher. But generally, you're looking for this to finally get tired and just say, "Oh, you know what? Let's just rest for a bit. Let's just catch my breath." I mean, it's really like sort of. I mean, from this point to this point, this is 30% sort of gain over sort of 2 weeks. It's not too bad. I mean, it does take patience to do that trade, but I mean, so with all coins, you have to have patience at some point, because there are definitely sort of just boring at some stages in time. But yeah, coming where the volume is at, so we'll probably look for it to say, struggle, wane, and sort of pull its weight down. I mean, you can even see DOT finally comes back down and holds above 5, but I mean, at this point it's struggling, and we all know it's struggling. It doesn't look like something you will ever want to go back into and trade. It's got some support at 4.6 finally, after sort of saying, look at me, I'm falling into the abyss. We've got some nice little resistance here, but generally it's happy here. We'll see if it undercuts it early, pushes down below, just takes out sort of liquidity here. If it holds these levels, maybe 4.75, just takes this out. I mean, just holds this area. It doesn't have to be too perfect. Maybe bounces on that low, but that's sort of where you aggressively want to be potentially entering for DOT, just if it as a surprise, as a punt. Like, if anything else, just as a punt. It's just, let's see where this goes. It's just, it just should do something. Look at Solana. There you go. I mean, aggressively pushing those longs. You can see that. Let's go back and look at Bitcoin. You see that? It's just, I mean, you see that aggressive finally sort of tapering off now to that sort of tail half. You see those longs finally hit that. a weird artifacting. Again, Solana just hasn't been pushing itself. I mean, just been trading in this area here. Just smells of and just like something's not right, sort of a thing. Just looking at sort of how this sort of building up here. Maybe we're building up to sort of say, okay, there's your point there. Who knows? But generally, that's what I think. What I said before when I last looked at this on Monday, just you want it to come down, and it realistically hasn't changed that sentiment. Looks like it's very much struggling to do anything worth a lick of salt. I mean, anything else you want me to look at? I mean, I'm game for anything at this point. We'll stay on my bookmap for a bit. Artifacting and all. They really need to fix this web one. I mean, they don't need to, but it'd be nice if they did. It would show that I mean, the ever so present sort of midpoint level here. I mean, just repair that, no mind. Generally, seeing that build up of longs. Finally, we're getting something that we like to see. We like to see longs. We want to see longs enter in. That just shows us we're finally getting dum-dums entering into positions that we want, and we can exploit. But as soon as we see that, we can say, okay, now instead of these people who entered in too early get squeezed out, get scared, sell off a market price here, get people in and then just flip positions at these highs. We want to look at this level here. You just say, okay, we're looking for a large build up of longs to eventually lead us to want to take a short. And if we don't get that, we don't get that. We just don't trade it. We don't be stupid. We don't force things. Stop. Then we do have a higher levels to play for. We talked about them. If Bitcoin tries to starts dragging everything up, we look for those high levels. Not an issue. Generally, we're already at a point where we may consider some level of rejection. That's all the sentiment that is for today. I mean, you can see, yes, it's trying to complete its best just to complete this sort of small gap that it has. We'll see if afterwards it just comes back down to retest. That'll be so great for us. Then sort of, the largest sort of weekly volume just accumulated here, sort of pushes it out, comes back into this area. We'll see if it sort of does that again. Hopefully it does sort of push back down, hold internally at that daily level that we saw. If it doesn't, maybe breaks a bit lower. But generally, if we get this to sort of catch on this week, we can maybe look for that to go lower. Everyone's sort of going to come in probably at 9:30, just say, oh look, good numbers, let's just buy. And they buy, they build it up a bit for a bit. We'll say maybe squeeze it up just a bit higher. Maybe even if anything, just to take those highs out, then maybe that'll be a short. We get that extra extension. I mean, we did sort of even out on this one, so some exchanges probably took it, some exchanges didn't, but generally we're starting to come back into that area here. Slightly higher may be what needs to be had just to take this out. But I definitely wouldn't consider 2k in the books just yet. I mean, it would be nice, but it would feel like a fever dream if we did that in one go without sort of taking some much needed sort of respite. Uh, But other than that, I think I want to cut it here. I think my voice is starting to sort of struggle now, so I just don't want to push it. Again, still some mixed bags for shorts. You don't want to see these shorts coming in too aggressively, trying to undercut these longs. And it's just stuff we always talk about. It's just there is very little variation in the way people are trading, and the changes happen gradually over time, and they're very sort of, you can pick them up slow. It's something that you can slowly pick up and just say, oh yeah, it picks up. I can spot that. I can spot slight shifts in the market. It's like, oh, people are now no longer trading this as heavily or whatnot and whatever. But generally, it's just like over a short period of time, they're gonna be trading the same. Then overnight, they're just gonna change how they trade. It's a gradual step and process as new traders enter, and there's a newer sort of either a school of thought taking place where traders are taught to do something else, so they now have to sort of change where they place their sort of traps. But generally, they're just placing traps and waiting for idiots to fall for them. That is pretty much the name of the game. No surprise. Okay, thank you guys so much for coming. I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. Again, sorry for the 2 days of absence. Number one, computer was broken. Number two, my brain was probably broken at some stage, just because it always gets broken at some stage in time. It broke, can't fix it. And good day to you guys. Enjoy the rest of your day. Trade safe. More importantly, I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Peace.